I'm trying to get the driveway kind of cut in here this morning. They actually came and surveyed the property line, I don't know, that 20 minutes ago, but it's right behind the big tree that you can't see from here, but then there's a stake there, and then they put a couple down through here, and the property corner actually was like, I don't know, 4.5 feet to the right of that big tree over there. So bad part is I think my pad, it'll work. We may just move the building up a little bit more, maybe a little bit out of square, because I was kind of basing it off those 2 trees. So we either need to add a little more clay to that corner to kick it on out, or move it over some. And then I was actually pretty close up there on the driveway. I think I figured it was like 66 feet or whatever, 10 feet from the property line, and then 56 for the shop in the front of this pad. So that's where I set that. And then it's actually, that's about, I don't know, 18 inches or whatever from where that was at. So I'll probably dig it over there, that way the driveway doesn't like veer off at an angle, and then that way they can square the shop up. The pad's big enough, it may be that we got to just, like I said, tweak it a little bit on here. And it's actually held up pretty good. We got just a little over an inch of rain, and that really helped kind of pack some of this stuff down. But I'm either going to get some riprap or just some 3-inch rock, because some of this I'm down to, you know, already down to the clay. I mean, it's a little bit soft in places, but it's kind of like that last property. It's like this muck on top, just holds the moisture and won't drain anywhere, but then you skim it down, which there's tree roots, so that doesn't help. And you get down to some stuff that's actually surprisingly fairly dry. So, but that does have some clay content to it, so if I can get that kind of skimmed off, tracked in, we can just dump the rock on top of that. I thought about trying to locate some fabric and putting on there, but like everything else, I can't get any for a while. So we can do it the way a lot of guys do it around here is you just kind of strip that junk off, and then either, like I said, just dump 3-inch or dump a load of riprap in there and kind of walk it in. I mean, I know the idea of the fabric, so the mud and stuff won't come up in there, but if you do this early enough in the construction phase, and what we do a lot of times is just kind of clean it off, dump 3-inch, and then you let the builders, the concrete truck, the dump trucks, everybody just drives in and out. They will pack that stuff in better than any roller or anything, and then by the time they're actually ready to move in, you just come and top coat it with the load of 1-inch, and you have a fantastic sub base if you can get these started, like I said, at the beginning of the project. And then all of that traffic day in and day out in here will just put a really good driveway in. But I came over here, try to start my fire again, grease this thing and fuel it up. And I don't really have any room for the dump truck, so I was gonna just kind of cut all this junk out, and then we'll run and get it, and I can back it in and just kind of dump the rock and just work my way in. Because all of it's pretty soft out here, but the pickup's not as bad, but the dump truck will be. And this is all a little spongy and loose just because I loosened it up before the rain. I think it's going to be like 16 feet. We may go 18 feet wide on the driveway. Take a little bit of my rock up so I kind of overlap, but and I want these tree stumps or roots and stobs and everything else out of here anyways. It's not going to help get a good base on the driveway. And all this stuff I'm going to dig out and throw to my left over here and kind of reuse it to help shape the outside of the pad. kind of use it for rough grading around the building and kind of the yard and stuff, and just help shed the water a little bit better. I'm going to dump it here, and you can kind of see just where the well's at over to there. I need to actually build this up some and kind of kick it where it slopes out, so all the water will actually run through kind of about where I'm sitting to that wooden stake over there. So that's the good part about this. It's not great fill, but since you're not going to build on it, you can help use it to shape the site a little bit. Try to do this and cut just so I can get my lines straight for the driveway, and then like I said, we'll back up and dump the rock in here and just kind of work it in, and then yeah, should have a fairly nice clean straight driveway. tell you, I'm batting 1,000 today with the camera angles and everything else. I get done spreading that load and I noticed the camera like rotated, so this video should be awesome. We have made it back over here to this site. Had a little footing to dig for a garage earlier, so got my fire stoked back up. The 2150's all greased. I brought the loader. As Davin with iDig4 always likes to give me a hard time that I say. But I got a little flame back here. That stuff is pretty wet, but I got some dead on there and a couple vines, so that ought to take back off. But I kind of wanted to focus the rest of this afternoon with just doing a little bit of grading and cleanup. It's starting to kind of dry out, but we have more weather rolling in. I think tomorrow afternoon sometime we're supposed to get rain transitioning over to snow. So I just thought I'd get the loader over here because I had it with me to dig that footing. I dropped the 260 off, but it's going to be a little quicker on trying to slick some of this stuff up. I stayed last night and kind of moved the pile that I dug out for this driveway. I'm trying to kind of build it up along the edges of the pad, but you can tell I got some work to do. This was all done in the dark, so I kind of want to just make a nice gradual slope. This stuff didn't come out too bad. I'm going to kind of taper it over to the edge of the property line, so I'll probably just take all this junk and kind of start cutting and grading and taking it back that way and making it look like the pad's not quite out of the ground like it is, and I can kind of waste all this stuff back there and then hopefully get this area slicked up, and then a little bit of the other side just kind of around the pad is my goal. So just jump in the loader and get to it. was actually cleaning up pretty nice for the amount of mud and sticks and stuff that are in there. And then my fire decided to finally kind of take off. I threw all that diesel on there earlier and that burned, and then didn't do much, but I got some dead and some vines or whatever, and they just kind of finally lit up. But I'll probably stay here for a little while longer and kind of get most of that burned and stacked up. Let's see, I kind of just ran over this just to get these little piles and these sticks. I did a little bit of cutting down on here. This is kind of, I don't know, it's gonna work for now. A little bit high right here from what my benchmark originally was, but I think we're still gonna put maybe a little bit more fill, or we're gonna do like 6 inches of rock and 6 of concrete. I think that's what it was. So my tolerances are pretty close, but I never really like fine-tuned it once we were done. But for right now, I kind of got this rough graded out, and the water should kind of hit somewhere right through there and take off. Like I said, that needs to be built up a little bit more. I'll have to cut a little bit better of a swell, but I'm just trying to kind of get it roughed in for right now, and because it's just so muddy and pumping and sinking and everything else, that it'll start kind of settling, and the rain will kind of pack it in there real nice. But and there's no building up, so there's not have to worry about water getting in there. May get in the 2150 and try to bust up these pieces of concrete pipe because they're not really any good, and then just use it to kind of break this stuff down, because it's got a lot of sticks and junk, but it's really not the best fill or anything like that. But if you kind of let it sit here for a while, and not he's not going to build on it, but we're just going to try to kind of taper this hillside down. So I may just kind of smash those things up and put them underneath there, and then try to, it's going to get a little steep over here, but just try to touch this up a little bit better and clean this up. So, but the rest of the side is coming along really nice. We'll stack the fire up a little bit. I may do a little more rough grading on this, and then we'll be back tomorrow for whatever I don't get done, and then rain and snow back here Thursday night. So at least it'll be nice to get some of this cleaned up before all that junk gets here, and it can kind of be settling and packing in and doing its thing. So we'll just check with you guys tomorrow.